Good morning, good morning. We are in the tarot study of the Empress. Hang on one second. I want to get, for some reason, I'm like, I gotta put on my little bit of oils. Boop, boop, boop. Yana siano tu yano oyana. Yano suyano tu yano oyana. Yano suyano tu yano oyana. Siano tu yano oyana. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Okay. You're like, focus, lady, focus. I'm in perimenopause. I can't focus ever. All right. Empress. Empress from the original Rider-Waite. Golden Art Nouveau. Woo, woo, woo. The Wildwood Tarot. She is called the Green Woman. The Tarot of the Divine. The Wandering Star Tarot. And this is the Star Tarot. And can we just take a moment of silence for that these are coming into view whenever I put them up there, where I'm not fighting the I'm not fighting the camera on that. Oh. And this is the Lightseers Tarot. So I want to take a second to ask a question about this. So this one is showing the big pregnant belly, but it is kind of transparent where you can see her belly underneath it. So it could be either or, right? It doesn't have to, and this kind of looks like the globe a little bit, the earth, to where it wouldn't necessarily mean pregnancy, but I don't know. I kind of like where they're not pregnant. Like this one, I mean, some people have said that she looks like pregnant, but to me, she doesn't. See how the lines on the dress go straight down? They're not curved out. So I think that that's why I feel like personally, like the fertility in this is clearly like, I mean, it could technically be if you're trying for a child, but in the percentage of that compared to everyone just trying to produce goodness and richness in their life, no matter if it's money or creativity or whatever it is a smaller percentage. So I don't really feel like that's not where I go to first and foremost is pregnancy in this card. This one, it's hard not to, right? But the thing I wanted to say about the Lightseers Tarot was really, I like really a big hit for a while there. Has anybody ever felt like a resistance to a certain deck before? Like this deck, for some reason, for me, like when I was taking these different classes and stuff, a few years back, probably like around the beginning of the pandemic, maybe, but they really like. There's so many people that loved this deck, and I've tried to love it, but I just feel like this resistance to it is very strange. And so I just didn't know how, like, if anybody else has ever felt that with a deck before. But I got it just because it is like, I mean, it's pretty. I don't know what it is. I don't know. But I just thought I'd ask, like, if anybody has ever felt that, like it's almost like a pushback, like the resistance, like it's like a resistance to it, and I don't know why, but there you go. But it is pretty though, right? Like I love all the colors, and she's gorgeous, and like, yeah, and I like her wings that are kind of like that are fish, and the sea, they're water, so it's like very much intuitive. I like her femininity. I like there's the moon, and the moon connected, showing the dots coming and being connected to all of that intuition, and so there's that. And then, so there's your random thoughts on that. In today's book, we are going to read Tarot for Change. So, it's by Jessica Dore, maybe? Dore? I don't know. You can, I probably got this off of Amazon. I don't know. But it was suggested in a group I was in a couple years ago. But anyway, and here's the inside of that. The Empress, once upon a time. I spent the first year of my daily yoga practice oscillating between the postures I was supposed to be doing and crying. Ah, there's a gnat. Did I get it? I think I got it. I don't know. Okay, sorry. I spent the first year of my daily yoga practice oscillating between the postures I was supposed to be doing and crying in the child's pose. I was 24 then, and after more than 2 decades of habitually leaving my body, when I began the journey home, coming in and then leaving, I was met with waves of intense emotions that had been lying latent, waiting to be acknowledged. It was as if they'd been sitting by the window of my abandoned body house, watching the driveway, hopeful at first, perking up at the flash of a headlight or any sign of my return, but growing increasingly hostile as the years passed, shooting daggers out of the window and gnashing their teeth. How dare she stay gone for so long? What I'd been able to process before that time through journaling, talk therapy, and other forms of meaning making had been a start for sure, but there was so much more that simply needed to be felt to be released. Energy healer Donna Eden writes that becoming civilized is, to a large extent, learning not to do what your body wants to do, which resonates. In our culture, we are conditioned to prize intellectual knowing and neglect intuitive or body knowing. We are taught that science alone is real and that other ways of knowing are fantastical or unreliable. The Empress represents nature and is, in my experience, one of the most misunderstood arcana in the tarot. People love her but can't put a finger on why. I think it's that when we long to be in our bodies but have forgotten how, she shows us that it would feel like what it would feel like if we could. Many of us think of the wild as something out there, and I think that's sad for us. It shows how cut off we are from the fact that somewhere deep down and old, we are still the wild and the body, with all its cycles and rhythms and ebbs and flows and generation and degeneration is proof. Because many of us grew up in homes where learning to regulate emotions and tolerate distress wasn't part of the culture or curriculum, we instead learned the habit of disassociating to cope, simply leaving the body when it becomes too much to be there. We return to the moments here and there. But when it's scary, we leave. We leave by drinking, shopping, scrolling our phones, having sex with people we don't feel safe with, and any number of other exit strategies. We numb in whatever way we can, because that's our best strategy for dealing. But ultimately, it never helps because numbing is not healing. I feel like we need to read that little sentence again. Maybe I'll even highlight it. Numbing, we're not even reading the whole sentence, just that little blurb. Numbing is not healing. Numbing is not healing. Numbing is not healing. During my first year of graduate school, I was hired to write a story about yoga and addiction recovery for a popular women's magazine. I knew from my own experience that yoga was a powerful tool in recovery, but I didn't know why and was excited to learn more about the mechanics of healing. One of the people I spoke to during my research was neuroscientist and researcher Satbir Singh Khalsa, a professor at Harvard Medical School who had developed a theory about why yoga was so helpful for those recovering from drug and alcohol addiction. He told me that yoga helps people develop mind-body awareness, which is something I suspect we come into this world with, but that gets chipped away as we get older and integrate into structure of our particular cultures. Khalsa said that mind-body awareness, which is developed through a practice of directing one's attention back to the body, helps people to remember what feels good and what doesn't. When we aren't in the body, when we aren't in the body, we're not able to experience the consequences of behavior that disrupts our energy and lives. We push through hangovers, ignore hunger, fullness cues, hang out too much with people whom we don't feel good around, spend years, decades, and sometimes lifetimes doing work that elicits agony, or perhaps worse, nothing at all. Khalsa said that the best motivator for behavior change is from the bottom up, meaning that coming into the body and actually feeling the impacts of a particular behavior will give us everything we need to know about whether to keep doing it or not. In order to access the information, though, we have to be willing to go back to the place where it lives, the body. Joseph Campbell said it beautifully. The mind can ramble off in strange ways and want things that the body does not want. Myths and rites were means of putting the mind in accord with the body, and the way of life in accord with the way nature dictates. More than any other motivator for change, knowing the harmful effects, reading statistics, even knowing intellectually that certain behaviors are messing with your dearest relationships, the capacity to experience how something truly feels may be one of the most important skills for change. So there we go. And that's a good reminder, because I have been slacking once again on trying to get into a daily yoga practice. I need help. I need somebody to come over and say, take your vitamins, do your yoga. No, I'm going to stand here until you're done. I'm not leaving until you take, take the vitamin. No, don't go do that. You got to come back, stop getting distracted. Do your yoga. You can do it. No, all the way through. Don't stop halfway because you remembered you need to water the plants. Cure for change. Hope you have a good day. See you tomorrow.